Hello and welcome back, everyone. Yes. How much is everybody like dancing before that intro video? Okay, Imani hooked it up. Okay, Ryan Little did the track. I want to send them some shout outs because you know what? We are all about crediting our Black creators today. Okay, yes. We're going like, hey. Well, look, y'all, we got, I hope y'all really felt inspired with that first segment because it was powerful. It was really powerful. And I felt like it sent a really good tone and set the tone for this summit. We're all about bringing in abundance, okay? And you know what? Black creators, when I say creator, I mean Black creators, hair, makeup, styling, manicure, like photographers, artists. I'm talking about everybody, everyone that's like out here like creating dope content. And I really want us to stay inspired in this moment because that was what my concern was. I was like, I don't want us to not create, to go back and shrink. You know, we got to uplift and we got to climb and we're gonna keep pressing forward because why? Because we are powerful beyond measure, okay? That's what I'm saying. We are powerful beyond measure. We are here because of what our ancestors did for us. And so I'm like, how can we pay that forward? We can't like let that go. It's so important. So every time I think about that, every time I think about what our ancestors did for us, I get so shook up and I get so inspired. Thank you, Hey Nelly, it was a perfect start. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love the on-timeness. Well, I am a Virgo. So, you know, Virgos, you know, it is what it is. Publicists, journalists, that's my sister, y'all. Send her some love, okay? Hey, Christina Henry. She's saying, hey, Tania. Hi, everyone. Look, y'all, that was just the beginning. We about to, like, I'm telling y'all, I'm here to get into the word, okay? Get into the word. But first, let me tell y'all, this Black creative entertainment company, I noticed in the first segment that I cut off their commercial just before the ending. And I really want to show it again because I was really taken back and happy that they decided to support me in my dream. And it was my first time ever getting a sponsor, y'all. How about that? Okay, I got me a sponsor, y'all. I'm so excited. So, well, also my mom's sponsored too. So I got to give her love too. But I was really happy and just honored that somebody said yes to my dream. So I want to show that commercial again because it's so cute and so hilarious. And please, guys, follow them, show them love, just like they showed me love. Okay. I appreciate that. So I'm about to get into their commercial. Take a look at this new web, it's season 2, so it's not new, but it's new, okay? Because it's coming from Black creatives and we are doing our thing, okay? So take a look at that.
Life's been good since I took over my dad's clinic.
Brian don't work here no more?
Oh, what the hell is going down there at that damn clinic anyway?
My friends are supportive.
Still stinky Rondo.
My patients love me.
I thought I felt the draft.
I think it is time for us to get some help here.
I'm out.
And my sex life
What kind of sex y'all have?
has never been better. Yeah, life is just
I got this.
awesome.
See? Wasn't that so cute? I loved it. Yes, okay, so I gotta send a shout out to them, Pierre Outlaw Entertainment, for supporting me, for believing in my dream, and yeah, that was real, y'all. That was real. So yeah, y'all. So guys, we have an amazing segment coming up. Okay, 2 of the industry's baddest makeup artists, okay, are stepping into my summit to talk to you guys. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with their work or anything, but they're dope. They're really dope. And I just want to give like a shout out to them, Delina Medhin. Hopefully I said it right and you ain't gonna get me, girl. Okay, I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. Okay, I am from the South and the area, Maryland. Okay, what? And then also Alana Wright. Okay, I want to give a little bit of a background on both of these artists because they're doing big stuff, and I really we're gonna put up all of their handles and everything and talk to them. It's gonna be like about an hour of conversation, and then you guys get your questions ready because we're coming at you for a Q&A at the end of our conversation. But first, let me bring on my girl Delina. Delina is a self-employed makeup artist based in New York City, and she's also a beauty blogger. Now, when I first learned how to say the word blogger or vlog, I used to say vlog, and people used to be like, what are you saying? And all y'all millennials will laugh at me. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I finally learned how to say that word. So blogger. She has a strong passion for enhancing natural beauty. Delina's work has been featured. You guys have probably seen her everywhere. She's been on the Wendy Williams show. She's been in her work has been on MTV, HBO. She works a lot with Dope Queen Thieves. Delina has collaborated. I can't stand that. I'm a Virgo. I can't help it. Collaborated with a lot of different beauty brands. So she has personally been on camera for Wendy Williams and Amazon show Style Code. So I am going to bring Miss Delina into the room. Hey!
Hi! How are you?
Okay, guys, Delina hosts her show and she does an Instagram live tutorials before, and hers start at 11. And get into this face, okay? Get into the face, okay? How about that? How about absolutely gorgeous? Okay,
thank you. I had to come correct for you, Joy. This is your summit. You said all black everything. Make sure you come correct.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I want to also bring in Alana Wright. Now, Alana, I mean, I don't even know how to really describe Alana's work, but to say like, it's just absolutely flawless. I mean, like when I see the way she does skin on especially Black people, I mean, her work shows out when I see that. Like, I sit there and I'm like, what did I just see? Okay. So I just want y'all to know that Alana Wright is in the building. Okay. So let me give you guys a background on her. Alana is a New York City-based makeup artist with over 17 years of experience. She's worked with some of the leading fashion photographers, brands, publications, and influencers. She's an expert at perfecting skin, which is so true, and creates supple-looking complexions for all different tones. Her clients include Elaine Welteroth. You guys have probably seen her with Elaine because she does a lot with Elaine, and Aurora James from Brother Velez, as well as Nike and Express. So Nike had this huge Black History Month shoot, and Alana was the makeup artist for that shoot. So I am so excited and happy to bring in Miss Alana Wright.
Hi.
Alana. How are you?
I'm doing okay. My first or second, live. And I'm so excited about your conference. I'm really happy to be a part of this. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies. Do you guys have Delina, I'm gonna start with you. Do you have anything opening that you want to say or give a little bit more background for yourself?
I feel good. I mean, I'm really excited to be here. Alana and I are actually, it's not only are we on a panel, we are actually friends. For real. So it's so cool. I'm in the middle of two people I really love. So this is really exciting. I'm so happy everybody's here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting. And yeah, let's get into it, man. I'm excited to go.
Yes. How about you, Alana? Do you have anything you want to add to your bio that I said, or well,
I guess I'm bi-coastal now. So. Okay. I'm based in California and in New York now.
All right.
Yeah. And now I'm a quarantine expert.
Okay.
I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, look, guys, I really want this to be a powerful conversation, and because we're all Black creatives, You know, you guys are makeup artists as well as other things. You guys are also artists, you know, and I really want this to really inspire our community and keep us pressing forward and not shrinking and just like, and I was like, how can I do that? And I was like, I got to get my dope friends together. Like, I have to. So I want to start out by asking you guys, because this particular panel is called How Black Makeup Artists Change the Celebrity Fashion Landscape. My first question to you guys is, how were Black makeup artists changing the fashion and celebrity landscape pre-COVID? Alana, do you want to go first?
Yes, I had some coffee. I shall go first.
Okay.
Well, I think that we have helped change the landscape because, you know, culturally we've been on tap since we've been here, you know. Gradually we've been changing. Culturally we've been on tap, you know, in this land since we've been here, you know, so we've always been a part of you know, the landscape, so to say, since forever. It's just about, you know, getting proper credit, proper pay, proper positions that, you know, are deserved for a lot of people. But as of late, you know, Black youth culture has basically taken over, you know, every aspect of marketing every single thing to every single product to everyone. So, you know, people turn to look to experts on these things. And I think that has helped usher in a fresh perspective that had been lacking for a long time as far as, you know, on the executive side and behind the lens. Now you have all these brand new, or not brand new, but, you know, as far as the fashion world is concerned, just new photographers who are budding and up and coming, and social media kind of helped create that democratic setting to allow people to have a voice that weren't heard before, or not as loudly, you know.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Delina, what do you think? What do you think? What were Black makeup artists changing before COVID?
I think that like we've become a lot more visible, especially in the past, like maybe 4 or 5 years. I think that, like, to be honest with you, I think there was a big shift in terms of people looking for our voice, as Alana said, after Fenty Beauty came out. I think that was a very big pivotal moment within our community. And it's not because Black people weren't already spending money. It's not like we didn't have $1, right? Because we did. But what happened, I think, is Rihanna made it visible on a global scale that we have impact and we have voice and we have, you know, influence. Not only did she have influence, but we have influence, right? And so I think things started opening up for artists in terms of like more contracts started to become more available for artists. We're more visible. Like just on Sunday, I did a collaboration with Clarence. Clarence doesn't really have that many Black women that they've worked with in the past. And I definitely think that that's part of that, right? Like, I think that we are in a place now where people are looking and saying, you know what, how can we collaborate and how can we make artists more visible? And I think that that's a really exciting space to be in, right? Because it's not just like, do you want visibility? It's like also with that comes money, right? Yeah, because we need money too, right?
Now let me get some skincare, girl.
Right? I got you. Hey, I got you. So I think we're becoming more visible, and I think that Black makeup artists are also mirroring the trend of Black actresses and Black. Like, I think that they are getting more opportunities, and I think like looking at what Elaine is doing with Alana and what Issa has been doing with me, like it's kind of like when they get opportunities, they bring us in, and when they do that, they create opportunities for us. And so I think that that's been a really big game changer too.
I love it. I love that. How? What can you say? How would you say we can continue to make that happen? Because right now, like brands, are they, like during this time, I don't want brands to now be like, oh, we have to go with what we were already doing first. Like I don't want these opportunities to go away. So how can we continue to keep making strides even after this?
I would say just, maintaining a close network with one another as well. You know what I mean? Collaboration amongst each other also helps with that. I'm, someone, I'm always going to consider myself a budding person. I haven't jumped up to me. Like there's always a hurdle ahead of me, right?
Gotcha.
So I don't have the expert answer on that per se, because for me it's a journey. It's like a journey.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm hoping that people will continue to look for Black perspectives, because we're not a monolith. Different kinds of perspectives as far as how we view beauty. We can help change that standard. Because that standard, it's right there. It's about to go over that hump, but it needs to be a global standard, and that really can't happen without our voices, our perspective, our work, in my personal opinion, because I feel like we need to be able to tell our own stories in editorials, whether it's celeb or model driven, or if it's an advertorial. I think that it's important for Black artists to be able to be a part of those stories. You know what I mean? You can't tell a Black story with a Black perspective. So I can only hope that continues, and having Black creative producers or that understand the importance of having a Black creative team. Shout out to all the the production companies that saw the importance in that so far that I've worked with. And it's still fairly rare, but I'm hoping that, especially in the midst of COVID, people have to be more creative in how they reach their target audience anyway. The run-of-the-mill thing that they have been doing, possibly it might not work after this thing is over, and so they have to get, have to bring the people in.
That is so true. What do you think, Delina?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Alana. I think that I feel excited about where we're going, but I still think there's a lot of work to be done. And I think that's a constant conversation that I have with you, Alana, like even offline. I think that there is still a lot more that we need to do in order to make sure that we're not just hired for just the Black thing, right? We're considered that, because a lot of times as a Black makeup artist, you have to know how to do every skin tone, right? It's not like
Black artists are always demanded, and especially if we want to have kind of a career that's all encompassing, we always have to kind of learn every skin tone. And I don't always feel like it's the opposite around. If we want that, then we have to do this. But it's not like the opposite where everyone has to learn our technique. And I saw that a lot on shows, where it's like, oh, the Black person could do the Black girls. And it's just and you're sitting there but I can do the Black girls and I can do the white girls too, So
it's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree. What about, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Delina, but continue.
No, it's okay. I think that it's a little bit, it's kind of interesting that is the case, because I feel like the true definition of an artist, right, is to be able to do anything, right? You come there, you should have a kit that fits everyone and that you can do everyone. Obviously, I think it's a little bit limiting when you do that, because you're basically saying that I only have one skill set, and that's not right? That's not accurate. We're not trained like that, to be honest with you. I mean, most of the time, if you're working backstage, I think backstage was a perfect example. I worked for key artists before that just weren't prepared. They had a Black artist on set do everything because they literally didn't even have the colors in their kit.
Oh, wow.
The key artist.
Wow.
that to me is, and you would think that you'd be surprised by it, but you're not. You know, over time, you just kind of, I think we have a few artists right now that are being spotlighted, but there aren't enough. There's a lot of Black makeup artists, a lot of Black hairstylists. I know we're focusing on makeup artists right now that assist really talented white hairstylists and white makeup artists. And they do the entire thing. They do the hair, they do the makeup, they do everything. And they are considered assistants for years. And some of that is because you don't know how to speak up for yourself, and it gets frustrating. You know, you have some people that that literally will just be like, you know what, forget it. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do the cover of Vogue and not get credit for it. You know?
Yeah. So, true. I think, that is so true. That just brings me to my next question is, what kind of obstacles do you see, or do you see any obstacles getting in our way in terms of us continuing to grow and to take this industry by storm? Delina, that question goes to you. I keep forgetting I have to shoot it out to somebody.
Could you say that one more time for me?
What obstacles, or do you see any obstacles getting in our way of how we can continue to take this industry by storm?
I think right now, everybody's looking for a way to pivot. I think it's really, it's a bit of a scary time, right? Like, I think that all of us are excited to use our hands. My personal love language is physical touch. So I'm in a bind, you know what I mean? Like, we want to touch people and people don't want to be touched right now.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out how we can kind of pivot and figure it out. And not everybody is designed to create social media content. Not everybody cares about that or wants to do that, right? Like, they got into the business of being an artist so they could be an artist. So I think that, like, it's like figuring out ways to be creative right now. I think that sharpening the sword is gonna be a really important thing. I think that if you're home and you're a makeup artist, I think you should be practicing how to do makeup. I think it's really important to practice. It's not like you don't just, if you are a professional soccer player, professional basketball player, what do? You practice all the time. And so, before you get into season, there's preseason, right? And right now we're in preseason. So it's like, how do we get to a place where, because people are gonna need makeup again. Like, don't worry about that. That's going to happen. Like, that's guaranteed.
True.
Nobody's walking on a red carpet without their face beat.
That's true.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just not doing that. So, like, it will happen again. I think we just need to have some hope. But I would say the pivot right now is figuring out how you can build your personal brand through this time, and sharing who you are as a person. Because I think people are really looking forward to finding out who they're going to be working with. Right? Like, we're not looking for complaints. We're looking for action. We're looking for excitement. Like what you're building right now, this is creating a whole new environment for people to be able to share something exciting and be around, like, exciting things. So, yeah.
Wow. I love that. Alana, what do you think? Like, how can we continue to keep going?
I'm just, the hurdles for me, honestly, are health-wise, you know what I mean? Because I'm immunocompromised. So, even as things open back up, I'm thinking about, like, how that's going to look for me personally. Yeah. Am I going to have 2 masks on in the field? I'm joking. I'm not going to show up. Like that. But honestly, the challenge it has, because I'm not a social media person. I post memes, and I'll post my work. Memes work. Like that's usually me. You know what I mean? So the hurdle for me is, how can I convey my authentic self and still, maintain my presence as a makeup artist, online, to be totally honest and candid, this whole pandemic and this quarantine has been about, the betterment of my health. As opposed to, focus, anything career-wise. Yeah. As you know, I was hospitalized basically the last half of Fashion Week. Yeah. Some other major projects that I was on because I'm a newly diagnosed type 1 diabetic. So I've been just trying to get, my life together this entire time. But I am looking forward to getting back to doing work, because I'm a creative person. I've always been creative, and I need that outlet, a 3-dimensional outlet, preferably. Should I take up oil painting right now? Like, what should I do?
Go in there. I know you like that too.
What should I do? But I honestly feel like this is also a great time to fortify, relationships that you do have with other artists, because honestly, moral support right now, I think is needed amongst each other to know how long this thing's going to last. Delina, you're a science girl. This, we don't know.
We don't know. We really don't know.
Yeah, very true.
I'm fascinated with how everything is moving right now, and how some of these states are opening back up, and it's to me, it's actually kind of scary, but honestly, I've been leaning on other artists for support, and that's all I can do is like a day by day as of right now for me.
That's true. So guys, I want to kind of go shift just a little bit, because I feel like one of the things for us creatives, makeup artists, or just somebody who wants to have a creative career in general, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times families aren't as supportive in the decision as you would like them to be. how does family factor into the decision-making process of becoming a makeup artist, especially a Black makeup artist? Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm from the DMV area, and it's always about getting a good government job. Okay,
Girl, I went to Howard, so
yeah. So you're like, girl, you gotta get that government job, that good government job.
I almost did. I literally got hired at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office as a chemical engineering patent examiner, and then the bailout happened, and they took my hiring package back.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Wow.
Please, I don't want to get this like misconstrued with anybody. I'm not talking anyone having a good job. I'm not saying that.
Right now.
What I'm saying though is, or what I'm asking rather is, what if you do want to branch off into the creative part of your life and try to secure the money, secure the bag? How do we do that? How do we go about doing that, especially with Black families, or families in general that might have a hard time understanding that, like it's money to be made out here. And, so I'm going to shoot that one out to Delina first. And what she thinks, because I know you have a rich background, and I would love your response to this.
Well, I mean, I think this is I think a lot of people know that my mom was not very supportive when I first started doing makeup. She was just kind of like, what is this? I mean, I went to school, similar to Alana's, like I went to school and I finished school, I graduated in chemistry, and I was like, cool, now I want to like go work at the mall and like do makeup at MAC. And my mom was like, oh, yeah. She was like, excuse me?
Same with me.
Right?
Yeah, I see you out there. My mom is looking. Mommy, I see you. Go ahead.
Right? So you know what I'm saying. So it's like, when that happened, I think that she was just very scared. I think that like now that I realized that like moms and like dads and family members are people too. Yeah, I've understood like that comes from, that's a place of real fear.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're worried. They're worried about you. They want to make sure that you can take care of yourself. I always felt better when I personally felt in control and I knew what was happening in the revenue of my own company. Like I always know what's happening, right? As the CEO. Versus like if you work for a bigger corporation, you don't know what their books look like. So it's kind of like, if you think about it, I feel like you're actually like, as an owner, you do have a little bit more of a say of kind of like what the direction is and where things go. And so I always feel very empowered by it. But I mean, we're very cool now. I think honestly, I think the time that it takes for your parents to get used to you doing something creative is really just, you have to dig in deep and like literally surround yourself only with people who believe in your dream. It's going to be hard. It's definitely going to be hard because you want your parents' support. I think most people want their parents' support, and that's normal. And that's totally that is totally normal. Mm-hmm. And I think that like the more we understand that that's what we need, but don't necessarily like stop that from getting what we want to get done, like getting our passion done, then I think then like you'll feel better. But understand that like it's like your parents are not haters, right? Like it's not like get the haters out. Like it's not like that, right?
They have your best interests at heart. That's so true.
They have your best interests at heart. And honestly, if you cannot overcome what your parents are telling you, it's going to be really hard for you to chase your dream, because there's going to be a lot of people saying exactly what they're saying outside of your family. Mm-hmm. So you don't want that to break you down.
Yeah. Yes. What about you, Alana? Did you struggle with that as well, or?
I struggle with it, but in a very slight way, because I'm a very stubborn, strong-willed person.
Okay, I love that.
Had my mind made up. Hey, Ma, I know you're on here. Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl.
Hello to all the moms.
Huh?
Hello to all the moms.
Yeah, hello, Mom. But so Detroit is, an automotive city. You know what I mean? But it's very centered in STEM, in science, math, technology. They basically indoctrinate, kids from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade to basically pursue a job in STEM. And that background that I had, I've always had support, that could be whatever I wanted. So I took that literally, you know what I mean? But it was thanks to this one substitute teacher I had in 11th grade, Mrs. Abdullah. Hey girl, I don't know where you are in the world, but I went to a college prep high school called Cass Tech, and you basically, decide, what your major is in school. So mine was chemical engineering in high school, and she was like, you can go in. She was mean, but she was like, you can go into makeup with that. I was like, for real? And she was like, they go into manufacturing and all that. I was like, oh. Noted. That one day that she taught my class, I never forgot that, and ended up going to Howard University, majoring in chemical engineering. But I always pursued my degree with the intent of going into the cosmetics industry. It was never automotive, chemical, or whatever for me. I was like, no, I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna find a way. People are like, did you do an internship? No, I worked at Mac. I worked at Mac every summer throughout undergrad. I was working full time. By the end of my senior year in college, I was working full time at Mac, and I was going to school full time, and I had a consortium class at University of Maryland as well. It was insane. And I think back, like, what was I thinking? This was whatever. But, long story short, I graduated, and, it was closer to the bailout time of the bailout. It was approaching a couple of years before that. And it was hard for me to find a job in my field anyway, even on the product development side. And that goes back to the whole point of your summit, is that it's a very exclusive community within product development for cosmetics. It's not that diverse. It's not that easy to get into. Well, back then it wasn't. This is a long time ago. I'm sure it probably still applies today. But it's not that easy to get into. In fact, I had, because I worked for Mac for so long, I sought advice from a high-level executive about transitioning to the executive side with my unique background in chemical engineering, with my degree and customer experience, artist experience. I'm thinking like it's a no-brainer, but he actually told me that I had to either graduate from an Ivy League school or, enroll in a program at FIT, the Cosmetic and Fragrance Marketing Program. Lucky, I might get permanently placed. So I'm like, okay. I didn't take that for an answer. I ended up working for Mac for 7.5 years and just pursuing the artistry side. But in the midst of it, I did apply for a government job, girl, because I was like, okay, ringing up your customers.
Yes, it's real. I really
anymore. But I tried. That didn't, and it fell through. It was like it was a sign, as opposed to looking at it as a failure that I didn't have this chemical engineering job. I took it as a sign that this was the prime opportunity for me to ultimately pursue what I really wanted to do in life, and to pursue my passion, which was makeup, artistry. If it ends up becoming more than artistry, then okay, great. But I'm gonna do what I want to do. And until the day my grandparents died, they were asking, "So did you are you gonna get an engineering job?" And I have all these things that I checked off my list, and I'm proud of. But they always ask, and I never got offended about it because a different era.
That's so true. Yeah,
exactly. But I just feel like in this century, at this time, a lot of young Black artists, a lot of young Black people have just been making it happen for themselves in untraditional ways. And I guess I was one of them, trial and error, but I was just determined. And to this day, I don't regret anything. I don't regret.
I love that.
Through man, those classes are hard, but you apply that same process, that same critical thinking, artistry. There really is not two separate worlds when it comes to that.
That is so true. So I have two things. First, I want to say, so if you do decide that, you want to go into the creative field and, and your family isn't as supportive as you want them to be, I say just get that one credit that you could show in that magazine. That small, it could be a small, 1-inch picture. And I swear, once that happens and they can brag about you, then you have made it. Because once they can say, show somebody your work, then it's a whole nother ball game. But then the other thing I was going to say is that, actually, I forgot what I was going to say. So let's just move on to the next thing. Oh, you know what? I just remembered it. The only other thing I was going to say is that when I went to college and then I finished and I got my degree and then I went into makeup, I feel like my degree is the most expensive makeup artist degree I've ever gotten in my life. because I literally became a makeup artist, and I was like, okay, so I could have gone around and done something else, but it's all good.
No, but look what you're doing right now. Look what you're doing right now.
I don't regret my degree at all. I love the fact that, like, I think for me, it was important for me to get my degree, and I'm so happy I have it. So, yep. So life takes you in so many different turns, and that's why that is one of the reasons why I really want to encourage Black artists to just really straight up go after your dreams, because, the time is now. The time is now. We're creating legacies here. Like, this is what you want to do. You want to create your legacy. Okay, that is for me. That's what I want to strive for, is a legacy. Like, what am I leaving? How am I leaving this world in a better place? So let's do that. Let's stay encouraged, guys. All right. So so Delina kind of sort of brought this up a little bit earlier about in terms of like money. In terms of rate, is there any advice you would give artists on how to negotiate rates during this time or after? I feel like especially Black artists, because Black creators, because I feel like a lot of us don't ask for what we're worth. Mm-hmm. We're a little nervous. I would say Black women artists too, even more so, because, and then I like the fact, Delina, you brought up about business. We don't really look at this as a business. Like, we don't have the books. We don't have, like, even like during this time, a lot of us are scrambling to get paperwork done so that, we can get certain like benefits and stuff like that. How can we now channel that and come out of this and demand what we're worth, and demand and negotiate contracts and stuff like that, and negotiate, period, and get the most that we could possibly get? I'm going to start that with Delina. Yeah. Okay.
I love, both of these girls know I love talking about like negotiating. I'm like, girl, you need to raise your rate. Like, it's my favorite thing to tell my friends. So you can start. So I get really passionate about this, because I think that like a lot of times it's like you're very, when we're very talented, sometimes we're also worried about, and like, keep in mind, right? Obviously there's a pandemic going on. So I want everybody to understand that you have grace. Listen, if you're accepting something that maybe is a little bit less or a little bit different than what you may normally accept because you need the money, do what you got to do, boo. Like, you know what I mean? Don't necessarily think that like it needs to be kind of ego driven. At the same time, if there are any brands in here right now, don't ask people for less, because we know you're selling product. Don't we know? Like, you know what I mean? So like, it's like pay people also what they're worth, right? So it's like, it goes both ways. It's a respect street. So I think that it's really important to learn how to negotiate. And I think that one of the best ways that you could do that is like, Alana, you and I talk about this. Joy, you and I talk about this. If there is something that you're working on, there's a project you're like, girl, I just don't know exactly how much I should charge for this, or what have you charged for this in the past, or like, hey, what do you think about this? I think coming into your inner circle and understanding that they, especially people you respect and aren't going to be like, tell your business or anything like that, because people get very nervous when it comes to money. Even when you work in corporate, right? Like, people say, don't say what your salary is, don't tell anybody. And the reason why is because a lot of you guys would be doing the same job, but everybody's getting paid different amounts.
That's so true.
But the reason why is why? Why do you think that is? It's because people negotiate different amounts, right? So it's like, sometimes it's not even based on your experience as to why you're getting paid for something. I'll give you an example. I walked in on a set like very recently, and I had it was for a job where it was with a magazine. So a lot of times people know editorial rates are very low. But now this new thing that's happening is a lot of editorial, like, Elle Magazine, Vogue, all of them are doing sponsored ads now, right? Yeah. So they're working with brands. So they're doing they're doing like advertising budgets with their name on the call sheet. So you have to be very careful here, because what's happening is they have a bigger budget for a normal editorial that would run into a magazine. So you can actually negotiate it. So I remember I came in and I had an assistant. I knew these are two questions I always ask. I always ask, where is this content going to live? Very good question to ask. You always got to ask, where's it going to go? Look, you don't want to walk outside and realize that your work is on a billboard and you did not get paid billboard money. Right. That is not okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's on a billboard and you're like, wait, what? Hold on.
Yeah.
Nobody paid me for that, right? Because we don't get paid on usage as makeup artists. So you always want to ask, where's the content going to live? And then you're also going to ask certain things like, how many people are going to be on set?
Yeah.
Right? Like how many people are going to be on set, and like how many makeup changes are there going to be? Like really understand the scope of project, right? Mm-hmm. The SOW is like the statement of work of what you're actually getting involved in before you actually. Okay,
abbreviations. Okay. Okay. SOW.
You're right. So just understand. So understand what you're getting into, so that way you can say, okay, now I can really accept it, and then really start to build trust. I mean, people randomly, you know, send me messages all the time and be like, hey, like, what do you think I should charge for this? Or, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I will gladly talk to you. I think you have Crystal coming on at some point in all the summit. Yeah. She is a wonderful negotiator, but just be a little bit, I would say just encourage you to be bold, to ask for more than what you think is comfortable. It's always better to overshoot. The worst they can say is, no, actually, this is what our budget is. And sometimes you can work other things into even if it's a little bit outside of the budget, like travel and those kinds of things, just so you're comfortable. So there is always room. And I'm really serious, you guys, every single brand I've talked to has money right now. People are buying products. They are buying products. Don't let them.
Okay, she's talking like seriously.
Okay, so don't feel like, oh, I gotta come carefully into this conversation. Yeah. Nope. People are home and they are buying, and when they are buying, that means things are converting. And one thing I just thought about too, Alana, you were saying you're like, in terms of not doing social media things, I think consulting would be an awesome thing for to jump into right now, especially somebody like you, where you have this like background, you have this experience, you worked in these types of places, you already have the portfolio, and you can like maybe jump into having consulting conversations with a couple brands, especially some new ones, maybe, you know?
That Delina, let me just tell you, Delina has been helping me.
Right? Delina, like,
Delina, before I got signed to Sea Management, I was still out there wading in the water, trying to like negotiate and stuff like that. Man, Delina was a beacon for real.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Alana, actually, I do want to ask you about that, because you are a signed artist. So how does that how does that flow?
It's definitely helped me a lot, because I don't consider myself a business expert like that. My thing is like, I know what I want. I know what I want the trajectory to be. I want to get from point A to point Z, or is it point whatever. I want to accomplish these things. Let's figure out an action plan to do so. And so far, I'm really, really pleased with my experience at Sea Management, because, it's a collaboration. It's like, how can we achieve X, Y, and Z goals, and I still also, market myself, post my own work, yada, yada, yada. But it's been great. It's been helpful to not have to that pressure to negotiate, and things like that. But I still, hey, Angelique, I don't know if you're watching, but hey, girl, that's my agent. But I'll text me and Angelique. We text anyway because we're friends, and I'm like, hey, girl, so maybe we should push a bit more on this rate, or tell him I'm only flying first class. Like, I'm joking. I don't.
You better ask for all the coins.
I know, but okay, we'll do that and not blink. Like, yes,
right.
Class.
Yes, I'm here for it. I deserve, girl. You deserve.
Thank you, girl. Even though I still have an agent, I always think about Delina, because she has been that everyone business woman. About getting what she wants.
Okay, gotcha. Yes, okay. I heard an echo, and I didn't want people to miss out. But now I think it's gone. But that I think is super important, because I feel like a lot of people, and luckily your agent is amazing. I hear a lot of people though that, and I just want to reiterate that to people, that at the end of the day, this is your business, and you guys can work in tandem and together. But at the end of the day, this is your business.
Exactly.
What do you want to do to make sure and ensure that you are bringing in income too? So it's not an opportunity just to sit back and just let them do all the work. You have to put the work in too. It's not, like, oh, I got an agent, let me wipe my hands.
Oh no.
No.
Absolutely not.
It doesn't work like that, So we gotta keep building, and we gotta keep going and keep securing our own projects, especially now.
Yeah.
Now is the time, because more than likely people are coming straight to y'all, asking y'all questions. Now it's like, how can we build that and make that happen? So yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier, about us maintaining and nurturing our relationships among artists across the board, from photographers, stylists, whatever, who you happen to be friends with. Whenever they get jobs, they reach out to you. You know what I mean? And then you bring, if you have an agent, they manage the business side of of those things. But honestly, friends have kept me alive and kept me afloat in this business. I honestly would not be anywhere without genuine relationships that have been fostered since I've started freelancing.
So true, guys. We're starting, so we got 15 minutes left in this portion. We're going to do a Q&A at 1. But one of the last questions I want to ask is, how do we pay it forward within our community? Because I feel like a lot of us get into this whole I had to struggle, so everybody else had to do it too. You know what I mean? So how do we pay it forward? How do we get out of that mentality? Or what do you guys think? Alana, I'm gonna go with you first on this one.
Well, I'm definitely traumatized by that mentality, because a lot of my professors at my HBCU had that mentality when it came to teaching these extremely hard courses that were for my core classes for chemical engineering. We didn't have a TI-89, so you're gonna do this exam this way because I had it hard. That kind of thinking limits people. Want to quit, makes you want to drop out. It discourages people. So it honestly doesn't get anyone anywhere, and it even hinders that person that thinks they're dropping game. That hinders you in the long run, because people notice those things, and you never know when you're going to see someone again anyway. So it's always, for your benefit and just the universe's benefit to just be kind in general. So as far as, even though I'm saying that very intensely, be kind, but it's real, So as far as paying it forward is concerned, especially in regards to, why we're all here today in the first place, was assistance. I try to choose people of color. I always try to choose people of color, because I get tired of being the only, a raisin in a bowl of oatmeal, because there's no reason why that should be the case. There's no reason why I should be the only person of color, especially in a city like New York City or LA or whatever. Because we're everywhere, you know what I mean? But especially when I always try to hire women. And I look for a Black woman first. I can't find a Black woman, I try to find a Black man, or non-binary, and it's going to be somebody of color. That's how you pay it forward. Someone who's reaching out to advice to you on social media. It could be about anything. I don't keep my knowledge to myself for what? What am I hoarding it for? And when I die, what's gonna happen? I want people to thrive. I want Black people to thrive. I want Black women to thrive, because in particular, I find that is, there's an issue there when it comes to the lack of Black women and their presence on fashion sets. It could be it could be whatever, but it's just that's what I'm saying, as far as why aren't Black people qualified to tell stories of any kind? There's no justification for it. So I always make it a point to share whatever. Anyone has any questions, you can always reach out to me. My handle's on the banner, and then again, just hiring whoever I can whenever I can. And
I love that.
Shout out to Zania Beauty. I don't know if you're watching, but she's on the come up. But I try to choose young people as well.
Okay, gotcha. What about you, Delina?
I also think it's very important that we hire young Black women of color. it's just really, really important to me. I think that like, I mean, I see myself in that too, right? Like I try to create the opportunities that I wish I had when I first got in. And I found it very, very difficult to get onto assistance lists. Like, it's not that I didn't do it, but it was tough. Dude, you know what I mean? It was really tough. Yeah. And then I realized, like, especially women, like, I mean, honestly, like, I mean, I know that this is obviously a very inclusive space, but I just want to be really honest. I think it's a lot easier for men to get assistant positions than women. I've been passed up for things where I'm just like, how is that possible? I sent a specific email. Yeah. It talked about your whole portfolio.
A very nicely worded professional email.
Exactly. And so I think that sometimes it's like you want to be able to, I think you really want to be able to create these opportunities for people. And we're looking for professionalism, right? Like, we're looking for people who are interested in contributing, right? I think a lot of times people try and pitch you as an assistant and say they want to learn, and I get it. You're going to learn along the way, but really, truly, and honestly, what I need you for as an assistant, I just did a really big beauty shoot, and I had 3 assistants with me, and 2 of them have been with me for. When I find an assistant that I like, I keep you forever. So it's like literally, like I'm not really replacing people. You know what I mean? It's like, if that person's not available, cool, then you can come through. But it's like, it's truly like, because, you know, it's a partnership. It's like you start to understand how I work. And a lot of times when you're doing a big beauty shoot, I mean, Joy, you know this, like, you have 4, 5, 6 models, you need your assistant to do makeup too. Yeah. You're not just going to be standing there with me. So like, there are going to be bits and pieces that you grab, but truly and honestly, I need you to know how to do makeup so that when you get in there, if I need to have you, because this is what's going to happen. Eventually the creative director is going to walk up and say, they can do it, right? They can do this while you're they can do this, right? And you're just like, wait. Right? So okay, like, hold on. So I'm teaching you along the way because I want you to be able to do some of the stuff that I do. I mean, I want you to be able to have an amazing career as well too, but I want you to be able to do what I'm doing so that way, you can be other places. Like, that's the whole point, is trying to duplicate yourself, you know? So, I think that assisting is really important. I think that's a great way to pay it forward. I think that I also do a really, I'm very, very, very good at recommending people for jobs. I always recommend people for jobs. I've done it a lot. I've done it since the beginning of my career. I think for 2 reasons. Number one, because I think it's really important that you find positions and you put women of color into position. Every single time I'm not available, I'm putting a woman of color in position. Okay. That's fact. Yeah. So she's like, and so, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm putting you in position so that way that you can be there, because I'm like, if I can't be there, I'd like for you to be there. Right. Yes. Representation matters. It matters. Yeah.
Delina, let me tell you, Delina, I'm not going to go into detail, but she has looked out for me in a monumentous way. For that very reason. She practiced what she preaches. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's important that we all do. But yes, definitely referring, friends, women of color. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, But there's a lot of work to be done in that aspect when it comes to Black women and our so I know so many. I worked at MAC in DC. Pentagon City, DC. Okay. We're all Black women. You know what I mean? I'm glad to say there aren't that many that ended up continuing that I see on sets today from those crop of Black women that I worked with. We were all Black women. Where are they at? Why? Because you can't say they don't exist. Yeah. Used to overlook them. So it really is up to us to look out for one another.
That's so true, because when I first started in the game, like, literally, I was literally the only Black person that would be on set. Like, and it was just, it was wild to me. It was just still kind of like very new, and that's why I'm like, I don't want this to be a trend. Right. Right. Ends. I want this to continue and really like push forward. Before I ask my last question, guys, I want everyone, if you have questions for these young ladies, please drop it in the chat box, because I want you guys, like, they're here, y'all. It's time to ask the questions that you guys have. And it's like, first of all, I allotted 30 minutes for the questions. So
you're like, so y'all better fill up the space, okay?
Okay, so ask some questions. Think of something. Ask, because this is what is the conversation, the collective conversation is, how are we going to press forward after this? So I guess that is my kind of last question to you guys until we open it up is, what do you guys want to see happen after this? Like where do you see the future, and how can we make everlasting changes to this industry, to this world, to our communities? I know that's a big question to ask, but yeah.
I don't want this conversation to end. I don't want to hear from you guys today. That's
it's my heart is full, right?
Yeah. Well, guys, if you guys are loving this conversation, thank you, Reginald Raphael. If you guys are loving this conversation, make sure you're inviting people into the room so they can hear it too, because this is real. Like, let's all get people pay it forward. Get them in the room. Okay. So that's the question I have. How can we empower the future so that this doesn't become a trend with Black people just showing up for Black things? You know what I mean? We need to be represented everywhere. Mm-hmm. So, Delina, I'm gonna start with you on that one.
So I think that Alana brought up a really good point earlier when she was saying that we really need to have us in the producer cap, right? I think if there's anybody in here that's interested in being a producer, being a person of color, wanting to hire more people of color, it makes a big, big, big difference. And I think that whenever you're in a room, I think that I've experienced this before when I'm in a room with my clients, they might say, hey, I'm thinking about something, have you thought of? And I will always throw in people's name into the hat. I think a lot of times, you get to be in people's kind of trusted circle, inner circle, and you get the opportunity to be able to talk about people that you've been seeing. Sabrina, who's in the chat right now, works a lot with me. Works a lot with me and Phoebe Robinson, and she is always talking about new Black creatives that she's finding. She's like, girl, have you heard this thing? It's so funny. And I feel like it's really helpful to kind of bring us a little bit more to the table. I think that first I want to acknowledge, I know everybody's kind of going through something right now. This is a very traumatic experience for a lot of people, myself included. And I think that, it comes in waves, right? I always say that. It's sometimes you're cool and you're chilling and you're fine. And right now I feel great. But then sometimes I'm cool, I just want to just sleep a little bit longer, right? Because I'm just trying to forget what's happening right now. So it's okay to kind of lean into that emotion and understand that it's okay that you feel that way. Everybody's experiencing something different, and that it's totally fine. If right now you don't feel the most creative and you're seeing a bunch of people on Instagram and it's bothering you, I understand. If you're I can't wait to get on Instagram and start and create something, then do that, but I think that right now what we have to do is we have to be kind to each other and not shame each other, right? I think that stay in your lane has never been more important than it ever has been. Don't find this time to talk about what other people are doing. Just do what makes you happy and lean into that. And if you have to mute certain people because something is not right in your spirit with that certain thing, then do what you gotta do. Go on a muting spree if you have to.
Is the best. It's to determinate it.
Right? I haven't muted anyone. I have not muted anyone.
People probably done muted me because I done posted about this summit every single 5 minutes. And I'm okay.
No. Listen, hey, the thing is everything is not for everybody, and it's totally fine, right? Everyone's not going to find inspiration in certain times of their lives, and that's totally fine. I personally believe in my heart, for real. I really believe that there's going to be sun again, and we will be okay, and we will work again, and everything will be normal again, right? So you know what I mean? There's going to be an adjustment period, just like anything, and then things will go back. Everybody wants it to be normal. Every single person. Be back to the way that it was, and that's a good thing. So just keep the faith and don't stress out too much, and do what you have to do. Self-care is really important. Self-love is really important right now.
I love that. Alana.
Well, I'm sorry guys, I'm not I only get serious when I talk about politics, so forgive me for my goofiness. This is just my personality. I can't help it. I love it. But I definitely So I definitely agree with what Delina's saying. Is keeping the faith, and it's okay to oscillate between doom and gloom and faith, because the era that we're in right now, But I definitely do see an end in sight. I just don't know when that is and what it's going to look like, especially for someone like me who's immunocompromised, Anyone that knows me right now, they call me the COVID police, because I'm literally policing
Yeah.
Everyone that I know, I'm knowing every single person I know because I'm like, where have you been? What have you been doing? Who have you been breathing around? Who have you been touching?
Yeah.
You know, because I'm afraid of, getting.
And that's real. That's real. Especially in our community, where a lot of us are autoimmune compromised. So
and so that is, it's natural to be, afraid for the future. But I say definitely do what makes you happy. Mm-hmm. Try to discover new things. You know what I mean? And if you don't, that's okay too. Being still is perfectly fine. Because think about what our old normal was. Our old normal was hustle, bustle, no rest, not eating properly. Probably watching too much TV, probably scrolling way too much. So. Finding a new normal that involves really taking care of yourself, enriching others, supporting others. That's where I find my stability. I'm a jogger now. Who knew that I would become a jogger?
That's awesome. But awesome. I love that.
It's helped me really get out my frustrations with this whole pandemic situation. We're people who depend upon touching strangers' faces and being in their faces every single day. And that very position can literally kill us now. You know what I mean? So that's what I think about, or it could definitely kill me. You know what I mean? I think about just how disproportionately, Black people have been affected by this. Yeah. And, it's important to me to work with people that really value my life. You know what I mean? Value, you know what I mean? That's important. And not just, I'm just a 1099 or whatever. I'm actually a person. So my new normal is going to involve looking at all those aspects. But I just say, and find a way to enrich yourself. Stay creative. I even, I don't have any face charts. I don't have any textured paper. I'm just drawing really Picasso looking faces on paper using makeup lately. And it's been soothing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think that after this, it's definitely going to, we will get back to doing what we love. Most important.
Right. I love that. And that is a great note to that part of our conversation. Like I was saying, we opened it up for Q&A. So we have a question that just came in from Camille. What are your thoughts on how things will change once filming resumes?
You want to take that, Delina?
Sure. I think that there's going to be, I want to say, as makeup artists, I think a lot of us have already learned a lot of sanitary practices, especially if you worked at MAC growing up. I feel like it was very, very intense. You know what I mean? I think that MAC is one of the most sanitary counters ever.
Yeah.
So I think you learned a lot of doing the right thing when it comes to work. I don't know what's going to be regulated, but if I could just say, I think for personal safety, I think a lot of people will probably be wearing masks. I'm hoping that gloves are not required, that I can just kind of do washing hands, because I use my hands a lot when I do makeup, and to me, it would just it would be really hindering. To just be working with brushes. I'm not saying I can't do it, but I feel like it's just something that it's very innate with the way that I actually do makeup. I think you're going to see a lot of, depending on who you're working with, but I think especially if you're working with high profile clients, you can probably expect that there's going to be really intense measures. I've been already starting to think about maybe I should be creating individual kits for everybody. Right? I don't know if you've been thinking about that too. Alana or Joy, what we're gonna kind of do in that way, or maybe just kind of letting them know, hey, beforehand, this is what I'm going to be doing for the look. So not necessarily spending as much time in the creative process when I'm there, because that's what I like to do. I have Insta Lives, and I basically let people into my creative process where I'm putting a makeup look together, and that's kind of how I do it. I think as I go. Right. So I'm thinking about, okay, how can I plan out what I'm going to do before I get there and literally minimize it so that it can be coming in and coming out. I also go to a lot of clients' houses. I don't know how much that's going to really be happening. I think we're meeting on set now. As far as film is concerned, I'm sure that's going to be really intense. If you have 12, you're looking at 12, 16-hour days. We're in a trailer with multiple people. It's going to be interesting. I would just say, think about it also in terms of protecting yourself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are worried about like protecting the client, but think about you and what you need. And so if what you need to do is wear certain things, and make sure you wear those things, right? Like this is my new normal. This is what I'm doing for myself. Like, you know, obviously I care about you, but this is what I'm doing for me, right? So I can feel comfortable. But I do hope that that transition goes pretty quickly, because I don't want to do all that.
No, man. Like, you know, I'm just like, when I go in my kit, I'm like,
same. That's how I think. I'm like,
yeah, because I make it up as I go. I pride myself on improvising things. I'm sure that doesn't please some people, but some clients, but I improvise, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, well, that's a part of being an artist.
Yeah, but it's a challenge.
You just fly off the handle and you do other things.
Yep.
We have another question that came in from Carmen. Hi, Carmen. Thank you for asking a question. Alana, can you please share your journey in getting agency representation and any advice to others seeking representation?
Yes. So back to when Delina was talking about not being able to get on assistant lists, you know, a lot of people's trajectories as freelance makeup artists, they first assist, you know, in an array of notable, some not notable, but people who are working in everyday freelance makeup artists, you know, so they get that experience on set or wherever, you know, commercial set, backstage, whatever, and then they build that on their resume, and hopefully, you know, you get a job from the person you're assisting, and based on referral and so on and so forth. I didn't have that journey. I was never a first assistant. I was never a second assistant. I was never a third assistant. Every makeup artist that I assisted never really need or required extra pair of hands like that. It was very rare, you know, and they're cool, and I love them, and I value everything I learned from them, but I didn't work with them frequently enough to garner a first assistant type position. But a lot of people would advise you to seek that type of position, but that's really up to you, because there really is no wrong way to do that, because honestly, I'm not a first assistant kind of person, you know. You got to think about what your natural background is. Naturally, you know, like I said, I'm someone who's, you know, my mind's made up pretty early about a lot of things. I'm strong-willed, you know, highly educated. I'm sorry, you know. So
no, I have to apologize for that.
You know, highly educated, you know. So that first assistant thing may be hard for a lot of people to adjust, because it's, for a lot of makeup artists, they want you to do clerical work. They want you to pick up their dry cleaning, pick up the kid from school, drop off a get well note that their child made for their other classmate, also carry their 100-pound luggage. Like, if that's not for you, that's okay. You can still end up having a fantastic career in spite of you not doing that. So what I did, you know, that's what I mean, like friends. I have friends who were at creative agencies. I have friends who, you know, were in fashion PR. And they uplifted me. And I did every little gig, and I did every single test shoot with some great photographers that are doing fabulous things now. But back then when I was testing, they were just starting out as well. So I recommend, you know, practicing as much as possible. Getting your test shoots out there. So what if it's not, you know, Steve Meisel or, you know, Jamie Nelson? I love her. You know, what if it's not those people? Because it's still your work that you want to display. So the best way to market yourself is to get your work out there. You know, you never know who's watching. There's always someone who may come across your work, and they may make a mental note later on and circle back to you. And, you know, of course, it'll be great to assist people. It's great to reach out to agencies. I would say email as many agencies as possible with your professional emails, like Delina and I did, you know, and keep trying. I saw Sabrina's comment, you know, don't take no for an answer. Just keep trying and beating doors down. Keep trying. And that's exactly what I did as well. It just so happened that on one of the jobs that I've had, you know, on my own, I just got those a lot more frequently than I did assistant work. And, you know, a girl's got to eat, a girl's got to pay some bills. So that's what I decided to go with. And I stopped pursuing that. Not that I thought that, oh, I don't need to assist anymore. I know everything. No, I just preferred to learn as I go on my own jobs through my own journey of trial and error and, doing my own thing and meeting the right people, getting a good client base, and working on being the best makeup artist you possibly can be and still treating it and that's why I'm grateful for that retail experience. And I would say, retail experience is still extremely valuable. I would never, piss on that experience because you're working with the everyday person, all types of people. You learn how to manage personalities. You learn how to manage your own personality. You learn how to listen to the client, and that never stops. You always have to listen to the client. When you get on a set, that doesn't change. Your client just so happens to be bigger with a huge platform, whether it's advertising or television. So those are gems that you can always, acquire, possibly at the same time. Because when I first moved to New York, I was freelancing in the NARS boutiques. I was assisting, and I was doing my own jobs as well, and I was just, absorbing it all. And eventually it helped me become more of a well-rounded freelance makeup artist. But build your site, edit your.
That's super important.
Yeah, quantity is not quality. Make sure and have your strongest images at the top of your site. When you click on whatever your site is, what are the first, images that you want potential clients, photographers, collaborators to see. So always constantly change those out as well. And then when you feel that you are truly ready for representation, you can reach out. But the important thing I will say, circling back to assisting, is if you do have a regular relationship with assisting makeup artists that are repped by agencies, they're agents, you end up knowing them, establishing relationships, and then they have junior agents that become agents. Yeah. And you never know. But the point is to keep nurturing those relationships as you go.
Love that. Oh, I think that's
a great answer.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I think also that's super important about, like you said, like the junior agents. You just never know who. First of all, that's just a lesson in the industry in general. You never know who's going to be in what position. Exactly. So always treat everyone with respect. Yep. Because that person that you thought isn't going to be something. Next thing you know, you're like, hey, y'all. Yeah. Remember me? Hey. And they're like, yeah, okay. And you don't want that to happen,
Exactly. Yeah, they're keeping an eye on you so they can figure it out. The person that is, I have a manager right now, and I guess not necessarily an agent. It's kind of a crossover type of thing. But the way I met her was exactly how Alana said. I walked in to Jed Root at the time, and she was a junior agent. Mm-hmm. And over time, we just kind of kept in touch. And she, I knew she had a good what do you call that? I'm literally just blanking.
I know what you're saying.
My first cup of coffee. People liked her is what I'm trying to say. Your reputation is the word I was looking for.
Reputation, there we go.
Yeah. She had a good reputation. And so we kind of kept in touch. And so I think a lot of times people are looking, hey, I want to start working with an agent. But a lot of times it's a very organic thing that happened. And so just kind of like you said, Alana, I think that was a really, really great way. You literally walked them through.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a great question from Nina. Hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. Starting a beauty brand, how would you recommend we engage with makeup artists? I'm going to shoot that question out to you, Delina. Because, you know how to get all the coins.
First of all, congratulations on your brand. That's really, really exciting. Yeah. It's always a big, it's a big endeavor to start a beauty brand. And I think that it's a big market right now. So you want to find people that are really excited. I think that honestly, genuine excitement whenever you are interested in working with them and really understand and know their work. If you're wanting to work with makeup artists, no matter how you're wanting to reach out to them. Don't just talk about their celebrity work. If they work with celebrities, talk about maybe you saw something that really spoke to you. Oh, I really like the way you do this specific thing. Something that helps them really understand that you really care about their style of their work is something that's really going to speak to them, because everyone appreciates a compliment, right? But it's when something is specific. Yeah, when it's specific and it says something about you. It's not just oh, this was a really nice, if I were were to say like to Joy, like, oh, this is a really nice talk. Thank you for having us, versus being like, Joy, I saw how much work you put into this. I saw you like, and this is actually a really real compliment, just so you guys know. Like, Joy, I saw how much work you put into this. I saw you like dream this up, and then you literally like you conceptualize it, and then you put it together. I mean, you even have a theme song, sis. Like, I'm out here, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a whole different vibe, you know. So I think that like just expressing, only work with people you really want to work with, and then that excitement should come across. But and no mass messages, please don't send those out. I delete all of them. Sorry. Like, don't send me a message that like is like, it looks like you don't know me. I just, if you can't even take the time to write me a real message, I'm not going to work with you. And I am very open to working with everybody, no matter what your budget is. If you don't have a budget, I understand you just started. Like, if I like a product, I will talk about it. But but you gotta care. You gotta care.
Yes, you gotta care. You gotta care. Okay, we have another. Okay, the questions are rolling in, y'all. They're rolling in. We got about 20 minutes for questions. Tashinga, hopefully I said that right. Y'all don't get me if I'm not saying the names correctly. Tashinga. First of all, if that is how you say it, is absolutely beautiful. What is your advice on artists that are ready to move out to cities like NY, LA, and or London to pursue a career in MUA spaces? Pursue MUA careers in these spaces. Well, Alana, let's go with you on this one, because you came back home.
Both cities, yeah, exactly. She's in NY and LA.
Yeah, so we about to, you know.
You know, honestly, a lot of my makeup friends that I have now, we had our friendships begin on IG, you know, Instagram, you know, social media. So, and they just ended up blossoming into real life friendships. But I would say, you know, when you arrive to places like New York, you know, a lot of my friends I met in retail, you know, if you don't know anyone in that city, it's best to, I don't like saying start from the ground up, because I'm not trying to limit anybody. You know, you can dive right in, or you can opt to start small. If you don't have any kind of connections in the city, go to one of the higher end, you know, makeup boutiques like a NARS, you know. So many phenomenal artists came out of that first crop of employees out of the NARS 413 Bleecker boutique and Soho boutique. Like, so many. It was like, basically, what do you call that? Not a breeding ground, but like a citadel. I don't know. But you just never know who you're going to come up with. So that's why I do encourage that kind of experience, especially if you don't know anyone. But then there's like, you know, these cute little events like artist meetups now, you know, go to as many artist meetups that you possibly can. Try to get on lists for events that a lot of brands have, you know. You don't necessarily have to be, you know, a blogger or a high-end or a popular makeup artist. I snuck into...
I know, I'm like...
with you, girl. Tell us.
Back in the day, a press event for Pat McGrath when she was still doing Dolce & Gabbana Beauty. And living life, okay? You would have never have known that I did not belong there technically. You know, I encourage people to be bold and ballsy like that, because you know, the standard, if someone looks at your resume and they feel like you don't qualify for something, you'll never be able to do anything in life. You know what I mean? So it's about being bold and making those moves to establish certain connections, but again, nurturing those connections and building something genuine and authentic. And I honestly feel like the dominoes fall once that begins. Same thing.
Yes, I love that. I think so one of the things with the summit is that I'm throwing out the gatekeeper mentality. It's like,
exactly.
I'm bringing tables out here and I'm bringing chairs with me. It's just like, if you want a table, you build you a table, and it's okay. Exactly. You know, these gatekeepers, it is what it is.
Dude, I don't know. I can't tell you how many times someone said, "Well, I mean, you're not a first assistant, so I mean, I don't understand why you're getting these things." What?
Yeah.
Who said? Like, I don't have to follow X, Y, and Z path.
Everyone follows their own path.
Follow your own path.
How it happens. It unfolds the way it's supposed to unfold.
Exactly.
Question that just came in. Rebecca McMahon. I hope that's right. So I'm not a woman of color, but as a makeup artist and creative, I want to support all minorities. Do you have any suggestions for me? Thank you. First of all, Rebecca, shout out to you. I really, I appreciate that, and I invited everyone to the summit because, we're Black creatives are always kind of, I want to say forced to be in a room, with everyone else and learn everything else. But I sometimes feel like it doesn't come back. Like we're always having to reach outside of ourselves and make sure we're learning outside of us, But I want someone, that's why I was like, no, if you want to come in the room, come in the room because it's time for it to be reciprocated. You know what I mean? It's time for it to be reciprocated. One of the things first that I want to say on just a personal thing is, first of all, Rebecca, this is not, this is just my personal opinion. And I don't know if I could somehow, in just me saying this, change the collective mentality with this. But I want us to stop seeing ourselves as minorities. Yeah. Because that word in itself means less than or smaller than. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the population of the world globally, we're the majority, and I really want to change that collective word when it comes to people of color, period. Where, so that is just my personal thing. But like I said, this is no disrespect to you, Rebecca, but this is my personal belief. One of the things I think you can do to support is what you're doing right now. Mm-hmm. Coming in the room and making your presence known that you are an ally. And I appreciate that because, every movement needs allies, mm-hmm. And if you are in a space to hire, economics, putting us on a different platform like that is powerful. That's how change happens in communities, with people. So that is what I personally want to say. But I want to shoot this out to you ladies. What do you guys think? Delina, I'm going to start with you on that one. And ladies, just so you know, we have 9 more minutes, but this is getting good. That's a great question. I love that question, first of all. Okay.
That was a great question. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, I think that it's important to definitely create. I think a lot of times you have an opportunity. I think that, and I mean, obviously that this is a conversation, and I'm really excited you're here, Rebecca. Thank you for making that known. I appreciate that. I second that, Joy. I think a lot of times the conversation changes when Black people actually are not in the room, right? When a person who's not of color, right, who's having a conversation with another person who is like not of color, and they're talking about people of color in a positive way, minds get shifted. Right? Like change happens. And I think that my favorite thing to say is while you are at a bar talking, making sure that, you're encouraging people not to have negative stereotypes, right? Or to, you know what I mean? Or maybe to throw out somebody's name. Maybe you have, like you said, Joy, maybe you have an opportunity available and to be like, hey, actually, I do know that girl, Alana, and I really like her work and she's really cool. I haven't met her personally, but I've heard good things and I think I would like to try her out for this specific thing. Or I'm not available to do my client. Maybe Delina's available. Cool. I'm going to throw out this opportunity. So I think that sometimes what you're able to do is you can kind of create more space for us. One of the best ways I think to do that is I used to fly up, Alana was saying, go to the city that you want to be in and live in and go to events there. I would come up for the makeup show. And I would meet people at the makeup show before I lived.
That's a great,
yeah. And the makeup show is a really awesome melting pot. It's actually one of my favorite shows. I'm super bummed it was canceled this year because it's an amazing learning opportunity. You can literally go in there, just spend the money for the ticket to come in and go to all the free workshops and learn something, right? You don't even have to buy. You don't even have to buy anything. I'm not saying don't support businesses. Of course, support them. But I'm literally saying, they're like, wait, hold on. Don't.
Yeah, they're like, wait a minute, wait.
Like the trade show. But literally, there is an opportunity there for us to create. With your words, you are very powerful. So just understand that you can change what's happening in the room just by having a conversation. So yeah.
Yes, Alana, what do you think?
I'm definitely going to piggyback off of that.
Okay.
It's really about, that's what I mean. If you are, genuine about being an ally in helping people of color, Black people out within this industry. It's just, treat us like, you treat your non-Black, non-people of color colleagues that you think highly of, or, have some sort of kind regard. Because we're just like everybody else in that regard. We're afforded a lot of the same resources and opportunities. We're genuine people, we're kind people, we're talented, all of the above. So I definitely agree. Like representing us and speaking of us to other non-people of color when we're not in the room. And advocating for us, even in the smallest way, really does help. It goes, actually, carries a lot of weight. My agent, she's not a Black woman, but I love her. She's advocated for me. She believes in me, and she's helped me in so many ways. You know what I mean? Caring for that person, not as a token. The tokenism where we get in trouble with a lot of things. So as long as you're not treating Black people as tokens or a person of color as a token, then you just honestly believe in them and mess with their not mess. I'm trying to be. Believe in their work, then it just flows naturally. But I just want people to not, I'm trying to convey this in this short amount of time. We're not a threat, and a lot of our lives as Black people is being treated like threats, whether we're walking down the street, shopping in the store, doing our own thing, just minding our business. We're regarded as threats, all the way down to 5-year-old, 12-year-old child playing with a gun or toy gun or whatever. Like, we're always viewed as a threat in this world. That's how anti-Blackness and how to tackle anti-Blackness in every aspect of life, And the world is anti-Black. It may not necessarily be your fault, but it's always good to consider, how can you battle that? How can you change that? What can you do in your personal life to counteract that systemic anti-Blackness? And that's truly, truly important. And as long as you're tokenizing that approach, then we're all good, baby.
So good. Okay. One more question, guys, from Tyrone Farley. Hi, Tyrone. What are some new opportunities or business pivots post-COVID? So we got like 4 minutes. So Delina, I'm going to shoot with you. So give me like 1 minute answer if you can, or 2 minutes. And then Alana, we're going to end with you.
I don't want this to end.
I know. It's so good, right? It's good.
So good. It's so good. Okay, so I know a lot of people hate the word branding, but I really, 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 if you have the energy right now, I just want you to take a second and look at your portfolio and organize it in a way where, like Alana was saying, put that top image, make sure that the way that it reads, it's really advocating for you. And then I'd also say, you don't have to have a really huge Instagram following. I think everybody gets really caught up in the numbers with that. It's really not about that. It's about the aesthetic. Just take a second and look at the vibe that you're putting out. And what does that say about you? Just zoom out for a second and just look. What do the last 12 posts say about who I am? Can people understand, one, am I a makeup artist? What am I doing in what kind of message am I conveying? Those are going to be really, really important things, because people just when they get a list of names of people that are available for a job, they take one click and they probably go to your Instagram profile. And if they're really excited, they might go to your portfolio, but they do it so quickly. Just make sure it represents you. You don't have to post every day. You don't have to be on live every day. I know I'm on live every day, but I'm just saying, you really don't. It's just people just want to know you're a solid person. You're a good person. Continue to put out good vibes and just be mindful of the energy that you're putting out into the world.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Alana, do you have any ending or any I agree. They do need to continue to happen. Alana, I want to shoot that question out to you, and we have 2 minutes.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, okay. We're gonna have to pull that question back up. Oh, it's about business pivots. Do you have what are some new opportunities or business pivots post-COVID?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, it's about the authentic self now. Honestly, I think that's what we're going to transition into, and brands will be looking into that. Who is this person behind, you know, these photos, behind the work, you know, behind, you know, what do you call those? Lifestyle photos or whatever, you know, whatever it may be. It's about authenticity at this point. And how can you, you know, going back to branding, I know that's the B word, right? But how can you melt those two things together? Authenticity and branding, revealing yourself without, and it's still being attractive to potential clients.
Yeah.
And I just say, you know, be professional. Be professional, be kind. Kindness, honestly, if you convey kindness in anything, I feel like everything will work out just fine, honestly.
Yes.
Can you put your best foot forward in everything you do? Honestly, if you put 100% into everything you do, things will happen naturally. I swear. Yes. It sounds like a Hallmark cliche, but it's facts. Like if you maintain to be true, if you remain true to yourself, be authentic, convey kindness and quality work, it's going to happen.
It's a winning formula.
I've been on Instagram since 2012. I don't even have 6,000 followers, and I'm cool.
Hey, it is what it is. Let me tell you, that's a perfect ending to this amazing conversation. Ladies, you guys outdid yourself today. Like, really.
Thank you so much for having us, man. Thank you for doing this.
I always personally want to thank the people that say yes to me, that say yes to my craziness. And I appreciate you and all of you guys. And I appreciate all of you guys and the questions and the participants. I love you guys. And thank you, Delina. Thank you, Alana. You guys are such powerful queens.
Oh, thank you. So are you?
Yeah, like I just got goosebumps. Guys,
this is amazing. Can I just tell you that the fact that you created this summit in the time of bleakness, you got me out here, like really feeling like a geek because I had such a fantastic time today. I can't thank you enough for providing this. Honestly,
thank you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, y'all. Okay. Listen, guys. AJ is coming up next. AJ Crimson. So, yes. So we're going to take a 30-minute break.
Detroit, what?
What you say?
Detroit, what?
Yes. Go drink some water, eat some food, do what you got to do, because we're coming up next with the founder of AJ Crimson Beauty, AJ Crimson. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you guys in 30 minutes.
Thank you. I love you, girl.